Alright, hello everyone. Hope the day's going well. It's April 17th and what I'm working on today is the crosshair spread. In the past, all I had was just 4 images on the screen to represent a crosshair. It was all static, nothing was moving around, it didn't really do anything. The only thing that happened was it would hide itself when you would aim in and show itself when you were hip firing. But I want to change that to be more in line with modern FPS games, having that crosshair spread, the smooth transition from aiming in to aiming out. I'm making progress so far. I went ahead and made a widget blueprint for the crosshair. I also made a C++ file for it. I wasn't sure if I was going to need it originally, but I figured, hey, I'll create it. I might need it, and I did end up needing it because, again, it was one of those things, do I want to do all the code and blueprints in C++? So we have new crosshair in place. It's implemented into the HUD. You have the smooth interpolation from aiming in, aiming out, and the opacity as well being interpolated. So that's awesome. The widget blueprint, pretty straightforward. Canvas panels and then your images, and I just slapped that onto my current HUD, which is a bit of a mess, but I'll get into fixing that later. And we have it here in the middle. I thought I would break up the HUD into sections, which I think I might still do. It might work out well. Anyways, that's for another time. What we have going on here, again, just some values for the interpolation. These are constants, which I should probably just for magic numbers. And we have our crosshair textures. Couple of functions. I'll continue to add on to it for the crosshair spread, but for now, pretty nice. This is in tick. This would be bad. This probably is bad. I know people say don't do things in tick just because it, again, is getting called every single frame. You're making a lot of calculations. But for something like moving a crosshair and setting its opacity, just changing values, I'm not spawning any actors. I'm not doing any sort of heavy computations in that regards. But let me know if this is bad, if I should change it. I think right now it's fine. I'm just going to isolate these into their own little helper functions just to make it a bit more clean. We have this aim crosshair. It's just setting the interp values depending on if it's aiming or not, and we're calling that here, which maybe I should change, but this is all HUD related, so that's why I have it here. Maybe this function name has to change to be something a bit more descriptive to what it's actually doing, but it's in the HUD. I think it's fine there. It's changed the crosshair widget, so it makes sense to me. So I have that so far, which I'm happy with. The line trace is that it's still at 100% accuracy. There's no variation or spread happening at all, so that's the next step. And yeah, I just want to give that quick little update. I'll continue to be working on this. Maybe I'll get it done today. Maybe I'll end up finishing it tomorrow. It's a little while later. Progress has been made. Pretty happy with it so far. I'll go ahead and show it. You can see on the top left, all the spread calculations are being done. Right now we have movements. We have jumping also contributes to it, as well as when you're firing. And aiming, it does go in. But if it's only affecting the crosshair, it won't really matter too much. Since when you ADS anyways, it just hides the crosshair. I just need that smooth interpolation to close in the crosshairs as well as make it disappear. And then when you're aiming in, you'll have full 100% accuracy. So we did all the calculations, movement speed, inner speed, everything. That did all the calculations for the spread. That only does it for the actual spread calculations. That doesn't actually implement it towards the weapon spread when you're firing, getting that inaccuracy. So what we did is we took that calculation of getting the current crosshair speed from all of the effects, taking it into the firing input, getting that spread radius, multiplying it with itself with the spread scale, which is the value I found works best in the game. Might make it better, I'm not sure, but it works right now, which I'm really happy about. If we aren't aiming, we'll have this spread value. If we are aiming, don't even worry about it. Head into the trigger, and what's happening when we fire the bullet is here. So if spread radius, if we're hip firing, it will be greater than 0. If we're aiming, it is 0. And we're just adding a random range within a radius. So that's pretty good. I'll go ahead and show it here. So there we are. The crosshairs aren't being updated, but you can see with the Steagle, when we're hip firing it, it's random. It should be random every time. Sounds a pretty good spread in terms of accuracy, or a lucky spread, whatever you want to call it. And then when we aim in, 100% accuracy, which is amazing. It gets to something more like an assault rifle. And there we go, which that is pretty solid. We're moving around, it's less accurate, which is awesome too. moving and jumping around, also inaccurate, which is amazing. And then there we are. I think I want to keep it 100% accuracy when aiming, regardless of moving, jumping, whatever, because I think aiming should be the most important contributor. It should take precedence over everything. I mean, if you're aiming, moving, and it's inaccurate, it just feels off, I'd imagine. Like, it would just not feel right. Super happy with that. Got the crosshair spread added in. Final step is to actually adjust these crosshairs based on the spread. So we'll get on to that. Again, a little while later, and I am so close to being done. So now the crosshairs are being animated when you're moving around, when you're jumping, when you're aiming. I think that was the same as before. And when you're firing, you can see it spread out a little bit. The biggest thing is that I need to mess around with these values. And like the crosshair there isn't really much going on. So I think I want to mess around with the values. Oh my god, accuracy is insane there. Like, yeah, I want to mess around with the values, but I'm super happy with this so far. Now it just feels more responsive, actually similar to an FPS game. So two things, mess around with the values, see what I can do there. The other thing I wanted to do, all of the values I have about the crosshair spreads, I just have them in the player class for now. I think what I want to do is move them to the weapon class. The reason being, I think per weapon type, I want to have different spread values for each weapon type, like pistols, SMGs, assault rifles, and all the other guns. I think that's what I want to do, because right now this applies to all of the weapons, no matter what type it is, which is nice, it's a good start, but I think that's what I want to do. I want to move this over to the weapons, and whatever the current weapon the player is holding, it'll use those spread values. So for each weapon, I'll go ahead and set the values of the spreads. It'll be the same across the classes they're in to kind of get more variety. But I'll get to that tomorrow. I've been working on this for quite some time now, and I want to take a break from this. So
tomorrow.
Alright, hello. April 18th. Today was the last part of the actual code section and switching it around. I may come back to it a bit later, but for now I'm happy with how it is. I took all of the variables relating to crosshair spread from the player, moved them into the weapon base. So I got all this refactored, got our variables, got our getters and setters, and then player uses them. I'm not sure if I want to keep it this way. It's a bit weird because the system is used across four. We have the player, and it's calling the current weapons spread variables and setting them, but it's done from the player because the player also has the movement component, which is a key factor into some of these spread contributors. So I'm not sure if I'm okay with it. I'm happy it works, but I'm concerned about it from a design perspective because I'm utilizing different areas. I'm using the player class and the weapon class interchangeably, I guess. Like, they're talking to each other quite a bit throughout this whole system. There might be a better way to go about this. I'm happy with it for now. It works. And then at the very end, I'm updating the actual crosshair spread within the UI, but each weapon controls their own spread variables, so I get that dynamic feel across the weapons. Again, from a design perspective, what's better, moving these functions into the weapon and having the character's movement component sent into the weapon basis functions for movement spread, or if this is fine, having the player character have the functions for movement spread, but it just calls upon the current weapon's spread variables and setting them. And what I did so far, I just adjusted the 3 weapons I have in my current loadout. I'll get around to the other weapons tomorrow because honestly, I'm getting hungry. I want to cook dinner. Like I mentioned in the code, snipers like DSR have the biggest spread. There's a bug here that I need to fix. Again, I'll get around to it tomorrow. It's 100% accuracy. Not sure why, but I'm sure it's because of this custom code I have here. You can see all the values here, super large. Deagle, super small values because again, it's the pistol, trying to keep it small. And the assault rifle, right now the Honey Badger is the only one implemented. A bit of a medium one. SMGs will be slightly smaller than this. If I need to adjust it to have some sort of difference, this will be a little bit larger, and then the SMGs will be in that in-between range of pistols and assault rifles, but who knows? We'll see about it tomorrow. And here we go. So pistols, like the Deagle, nice and small. This was actually the default one as of yesterday. I didn't change any of the values because I liked how it was. Snipers, super big, super inaccurate when you're hip firing. Again, there's the bug, so it's just 100% accuracy. And then just to prove it, boom. And then the assault rifle. Again, that nice little in-between range. Again, there's the pistol, there's the assault rifle. Pistol, assault rifle. So this will be the final part of the Crosshair Spread system. All that's left for me is to just tweak the values and fix any bugs within there. I'll be moving on to the next part of my guns, which I believe will be implementing the shotgun class, which will be fun now that I have the Crosshair Spread done. And yeah, I'm gonna go cook some dinner now. See you all later.